Hello everyone, Mocha Bear here. Welcome back to Mocha Bear's Hobby Den. Today we're going to be doing something a little special aimed towards you DMs out there. Shall we get started? Before we get started, what I probably should have said was all of you potential DMs or GMs out there, those of you who are interested in trying out that role for the first time. Granted, a lot of you veterans out there could feel free to hop in the comments and add on any tidbits you might want to add out there, any shreds of wisdom you might want to give out. Feel free to do so. First, one of the most important things about wanting to start as a DM, you need to watch some games. And here on YouTube is the perfect platform for that. There are so many people running games. There are many of them veterans, like Brandon Lee Mulligan, Matthew Mercer, Abria, a whole bunch of them. However, there are also a lot of newbies out there, a lot of fresh DMs, GMs, storytellers, whatever you prefer. I highly recommend, just after you've watched this video, let me keep my microphone away from my hands. After you watch this video, you need to watch some games, because that will help you figure out if you do want to be a DM, if you want to run a game. Because remember, it takes commitment. Not only from your players, but from you. If you don't put commitment into this, nobody's going to really have any fun. Number 2 and 3 can kind of be combined, swapped around. But number 2 I have is obtain the player's handbook, the Dungeon Master's Guide, and the Monster Manual. I always recommend having physical of these. That way it's easier to access. But you can get them digitally. You can get them as PDFs online for free on your computer. You can find them as PDFs for free on your phones most of the time, your tablets. If you are willing to pay for the digital, you can get D&D Beyond. I know that Wizards of the Coast left a bad taste on a lot of our tongues earlier this year with their OGL nonsense. So a lot of people have put away D&D Beyond entirely, but if you are someone who still uses D&D Beyond or would like to, you can access them through there. But I do highly recommend having them physically, so you can get those easily from your local gaming store, some bookstores like Books A Million and Barnes and Noble. Walmart and Target have had them, I've seen a few times, so check those out. You can also just buy them from online, like eBay or Amazon. Even some like Walmart.com can sometimes have sales and deals on these books. So check those out. You definitely are going to need all 3 of these if you are going to be delving into this world as a DM. Number 3, which like I said, could be combined with number 2, could become before number 2. All depends like on your personal preference, as this is my personal preference, because having the books, you can get a head start looking through everything, because then when you lead up to number 3, which is players, you'll have an understanding of what you need to do and how to guide them, because you need players to run a game. And as a first-time DM, I recommend no more than 4 players. Minimum 3. You need at least 3 players, at most 4 players as a beginner. Now, if you are someone who's had experience playing D&D for a while and you're considered a moderate D&D player, I'd say you could push up your player count to 5. I have personally run a game for 7 people before. It was very interesting and took some time for combat, but it was entertaining. But I had also been a DM for about 2.5, 3 years at that point. And I've done a video before on how to find D&D games, how to get into D&D. Thumbnail for that's right here, and link will be in the description box down below. Sorry, it's late. It's a little after midnight for me right now. You can check that out, see how to get into it. You need to figure out if you are going to be playing in person or if you're going to be playing online, which delves into number 4. Find a place to play. Are you going to be playing in person, then you need to find people to play with. You're going to play online. If you're going to play online, Roll20, you can easily access through there. You also have Foundry. You have quite a few online VTT groups that you can join for D&D, but I use Roll20 as my personal preference. But yeah, you need a place to play. And if you're doing it in person, it could be someone's home. As long as it's someone that's playing or is willing to host. Don't just walk into some random person's home, hey, we're going to play D&D. Don't think they'd appreciate that. But someone's home, are you going to host, or one of your players going to host? A friend who's interested just watching, are they going to host? Things like that. Do you have a community center nearby that's willing to allow you to take a room to play? Do you have like a local church, something like that, that's willing to open up a room for you to play at? And then, of course, since the virus happened, a lot of it's been cut, but a lot of places have been reopening to it. Gaming stores. But that's number 4, find a place to play. Number 5 and number 6 can kind of combine, swap around. But number 5 is a general idea of your story. Will you be running a module, or will you be running a homebrew? So a module is a pre-written and published book, an adventure. You can have those physically, you can have those digitally. They're all over the place to find. There's so many third-party adventures being written and released on Kickstarter. And then homebrew, as I've mentioned before in one of my previous videos, is a homemade story, your own adventure, which I typically tend to run. I prefer to run homebrew because it gives me more creative freedom, and it allows me to easily incorporate my players into the story. But if you are a first-time DM, Dungeon Master, or GM, Game Master, or Storyteller, whatever title you prefer, I highly, highly recommend running a module first. And if it's a module by Wizards of the Coast, then highly recommend, I'm hitting my microphone again, that you look up that module here on YouTube. Most of the time, you'll be recommended to or referred to the Lost Mines of Phandelver, which is the beginning adventure from the older Dungeons and Dragons starter box set. But there's like at least 2 other starter box sets you can get. But whatever you go with, highly recommend watching some gameplay and how to prep for that module here on YouTube. Of course, again, after you watch this video. And you can find them most of the time, again, your local game store, Walmart and Target have had starter box sets constantly. My local Books A Million, or BAM as you call it, has had it. Check your local gaming stores as well. And if they're too far away, you don't have any place nearby, or you're trying to save some money, check Amazon as well. Let me get this out the way. I'm not sponsored by anyone. I'm not sponsored by Amazon. None of that. It'd be cool if I'm sponsored by somebody, but hey, I'm here to help you all out. I don't care about any sponsorships. If it happens, hey, cool, I'm getting sponsored. If not, oh well. I'm here to educate you all, spread awareness to these things and to this hobby. And then into number 6, I've already kind of talked about it, but if you're running a module, you need to research the module. If you watch some video here on YouTube and you decide to run the Lost Mines of Phandelver, cool, research it. If you're going to play it physically, buy the box set, get that module, read that booklet, because it's a short adventure. It's really short. Well, it can be really short. It all depends on what you and your players do, if you alter anything to it, which I ended up altering a lot of stuff to it when I finally ran it. You need to read it because there are a lot of notes in there that you need to be aware of before you come to them in the adventure with your players. You need to have some prep time. And if you play virtually and you play on Roll20, you can buy it on Roll20 and you can read through it on there. And it has all the tokens and whatnot, so you don't need, they're all prepared on the maps, so you don't need to worry about placing things unless you just need to move stuff around. But that's number 6. Number 7 is one of my favorite things about D&D, dice. You need to get some dice. Now, in my how to get into D&D, how to start playing D&D video, again, I'm referencing that video, I talked about the 7 types of dice that you need. So the dice you need are a D4, a D6, a D8, a D10, a D12, a D20, and then a percentile die or D100. You can get these really dirt cheap physically. Depending on where you go, you can get them for like $5 to $10 for all 7. If you get the Lost Mines of Phandelver starter box set or any starter box set, they typically come with a full set of these dice, as well as they come with typically 4d6 and 2d20s. You can easily get them physically from local gaming stores, Amazon. But if you're trying to save yourself some money, you can easily get some dice for free digitally on your phone or on your computer. In fact, I have one right here where you can easily just tap and it shows you how many times you've tapped that die and it tells you what you rolled. And then you can easily do it again and it keeps track of each individual die roll. So I've used this a few times in my personal games. I've used it when I am writing up my modules, when I'm writing my homebrews, I should say, not modules. And I want to determine, okay, which direction should this path lead to, or how many of such creature, like how many bandits are going to be behind this wall. Roll a d10 and something simple like that. So again, it's a free app that I got on my phone. You can easily find it on your phones. You can easily find it on tablets. There's so many dice modulators and websites that you can find on your computer for free that you don't have to sign up for anything. You just click on the link and it opens up and you just click on the numbers. But if you play on Roll20, you don't need physical dice, but some people do prefer to roll physical dice despite playing on Roll20. So like the DM that's running the games I'm in on Sunday, she likes to roll physical dice because sometimes Roll20 feels like it's gypping you. So, but it's all personal preference. Number 8, something to take notes. You need something. So if you're going to be playing on your computer, you have Microsoft Word, you have Notepad, Notes, anything like that that you can type notes on. Easy. Piece of paper, Notepad if you're playing in person, or even if you're playing digitally, you can use paper for your digital games. And then number 9, have a session 0. Now, I will do a future video on how you should run a session 0. I've run a few of them before. Session 0s are where you are going to sit with your players and you are going to discuss with them what kind of campaign you are going to play. If it's a module, a fixed module, an official printed module, talk with them, say, hey, this is, like, you can even read like maybe the first paragraph of the booklet. You can look up some keynotes about it to say, hey, so this is the premise of the game. These are the themes of the game. Make sure that everyone is okay with everything in it. You're going to want to discuss your, like, what everyone's for and your no-nos. Some players, like one of my players, for example, Penguin Girl 92, I've probably never mentioned on this channel. She's always on my gaming channel. But she has arachnophobia. I tend to not throw spiders into my games. Now, she's not deathly afraid to the point where if she sees a mini on the table, she's not gonna freak out and run away. I know that there are some people out there with phobias that are that severe and more. So that is one of the big things you need to talk with your players about, is find out what they're okay with being in the game, what they're not okay with being in the game. There's so much more that goes into a session 0. Like I said, I will do a more in-depth video about that later on. Number 10, get a DM screen. DM, GM, just a screen for your games. You can get them. I think they're like $15-20. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a while since I've bought one. of the Wizards of the Coast ones. I've got 2 from them, and then I've got quite a few from other projects I've backed on Kickstarter. Now, the starter box sets typically come with a thin cardboard one as well, but I highly recommend getting a DM screen because it's going to have notes on there for you as far as like DCs, so difficulty checks. It'll have the conditions listed on there, as well as what that means for your players, like what penalties they'll have. It'll have a list of prices for typical things like the cost of an inn, some food, some items that your characters might want to buy. Get a DM screen. Number 11, have fun. Make sure that you are having fun. Make sure your players are having fun. Make sure you communicate. Communication is key with anything in life, pretty much, but especially with D&D. Communicate with your players and let your players know that if they have an issue with other players or with something that's happening in the game, that they can come to you. But make sure it's not during a time that's going to interrupt the story. So don't do it during the game unless it's very, very vital. But if you like take a break during the break time you take for food, bathroom, whatever, maybe talk during then, maybe talk after the game. But communication. So we'll say that's rule 12. But I'm going to go ahead and end it there. As I've said before, any of you veteran DMs out there, if you feel like I missed something, please feel free to comment down below. I would love to hear your input. I would love to help any future DMs or GMs out there to learn and gain the confidence to be able to have fun as a DM, because there's sadly a lack of DMs out there for players. A lot of people don't want to play because they can't find a DM. Online community, not so hard, but in-person community, that's the harder part. So please, all of you veteran DMs out there, help me grow the community of DMs out there. And any of you potential DMs or GMs out there that are watching this, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them down below in the comments section. I will gladly answer them if I can. If I cannot answer them, I will try to find the answer for you and then answer them. But again, like I said, I will be doing a session 0 video on how to do session 0s. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this episode was helpful to all of you out there. If you haven't already, like this video, hit the subscription button, the subscribe button, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Hit that bell icon to make sure you get notified when my videos go live. Comment down below any questions you have, your 2 cents on the subject of being a DM, or anything you'd like to see. If you have any problems with the things I said, anything I listed here, let me know. And then share this video, spread this video, so that way future potential DMs can see this and learn from it, and learn from anyone who's adding their 2 cents down and honestly trying to help grow the community. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me and supporting my channel. Please, as always, take care of yourselves. And until next time, hobby on.